And it is interesting because I'm like, Brendan Connors is our actual screenwriter and director.
Bill Condon.
Bill Condon?
Yeah, it's Bill Condon.
Where am I getting
Brandon Connors? I don't know.
William Condon. Bill Condon?
Yeah, not Brandon Connors.
Bill.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Sorry to Bill. Bill. Is his name.
I'm so sorry, Bill. So again, welcome back to the Face of we talking about Bill Condon's 2006 Dreamgirls. So welcome to the Fade to Black podcast. I'm your host, Sunflower B. Rose, and I'm with my co-host, Imani Johnson, and we've got our guest, Malik. Malik, would you like to introduce yourself?
I sure can. What's up, y'all? My name is Malik Muhammad. I use he, his pronouns. I'm from Philadelphia, PA. And I think for today's iteration, I will say that I'm a professional actor, singer, and dancer. And I'm excited to join my homies here today. Thank y'all for the invitation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. Today, we are talking about Brendan Connors' 2006 film, Dreamgirls.
1, 2, 3, hit me!
It's the Dreaming! The Dreaming! You're breaking us up because you don't want me with Jimmy. None of you do because you're all jealous. Well, nothing's breaking me and Jimmy up. Nothing!
That's right, Curtis. You stopped me once, but you'll never stop me again.
You know, there really aren't 3 dreams. There are 4. And we're all here to sing that song for you.
So, homies, Malik, imagine that you've just watched Dreamgirls, right? You've just come off the stage from being in Dreamgirls. Like, you are fresh, deep, trenched in it. You walk into the bar, somebody's like, oh my gosh, love the look, love everything about you. Tell me about it. Where are you coming from? What is this world that you stepped into? How would you describe Dreamgirls?
Well, I can tell you right now, Dreamgirls was one of my absolute favorite movies when I was growing up. It is such a vibe, right? And I think I was invited in today because I've been in 2 musical productions of Dreamgirls. One at the Grand Theater back in 2021. And also I played Curtis Taylor Jr., baby. Curtis Taylor Jr. So that was my first iteration. And then the second time I was an understudy for Curtis at the Walnut Street Theater here in Philly. And growing up, Dreamgirls was a staple in my house, right? I think as I was coming to understand that I loved musical theater, Dreamgirls was one of those movies that was like, wait a second. One, it is star-studded. I think that's where I would start, right? There is nothing but stars in this movie. Beyonce Knowles, Jamie Foxx, Eddie Murphy, and we cannot forget our new queen at the time, Jennifer Hudson, right? So if I had to describe the movie, I think I would start with this. Let me see if I could break it down just a little bit. Starts out with this young girl group called the Dreamettes. And we're following this young girl group as they are getting started, right? They're performing at a talent show. And turns out, boom, they're about to be picked up by one of the biggest artists at the time, James Thunder Early. Thunder Early, Eddie Murphy, iconic. So he steps in, takes them on. And now they're journeying across the world, really starting to vibe out. The country is starting to pay attention to them. And then Jamie Foxx comes in and he's like, wait a minute. It's time for these girls to go solo. They step out on their own, right? And now they doing the thing. They're no longer the Dreamettes. They are the Dreams. Now the Dreams are moving and shaking. They're doing the thing, singing their hearts out. And as they're continuing to move forward, you know, group dynamics get a little interesting sometimes, especially in the time that this movie is set. I believe it's around the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. So you're following this all-black girl group in the 60s as they are going through their trajectory of fame. And then the group dynamics hit, and they're like, wait a minute. We can't have this girl as the lead singer. Let's bring in Miss Beyonce Knowles over Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson ain't having it, y'all. She ain't having it. She said, you know what? F this. I'm out. She pieces. Now they replaced her with somebody else. And they fast forward a whole bunch of years. And now you're still watching this group as they're developing. Jennifer Hudson's Effie White is trying to figure out doing her own thing. And then madness ensues. I don't want to give out too many spoilers. But that's the gist of the movie, right? You're following this amazing girl group from a young age as they reach fame and stardom and the dynamics that happen as they're navigating that. I think another layer of it is, this is blackity black, y'all. It's giving Black excellence all the way. And it tells us a little bit about the story of how R&B, right, has transformed how we think about music in a variety of different ways. There's some racial tensions throughout. There's some relationship tensions throughout. But all in all, it's an incredible movie that gives us some insight into what the music industry looks like at that time, especially for a Black women's group. And again, star-studded and just a lot of fun. You gotta listen to the vocals. You gotta listen to the music. I'll tell you right now, one of my favorite songs, of course, and I'm telling you, I'm not going.
Yes,
we gotta give it up for Cadillac Car.
Oh, yes.
We gotta give it up for Stepping to the Bad Side.
Something
bad
side. Yeah.
And even the very first song in the movie, move out of my life, move out of my life. So that's what I'm saying. I think that's my short but long synopsis.
I love it. Thank you, Malik. Because that, is truly a synopsis. And Imani, anything that you want to add to that?
No, I think Malik got it covered. I'm like, this is absolutely a phenomenal movie, and with so many great songs, so many great lines. Like, it's so quotable, and it's beautiful. Like, the costumes, gorgeous. It's just such a wonderfully made movie, and I think if you don't know, it's inspired by the Supremes and Motown Records, loosely inspired by, but now I'm like, Malik got it covered. I agree. Wonderful film.
It's interesting that you say loosely inspired, though, because I feel like, depending on who you ask, that is debatable.
Yes.
I mean, surely, but you can't be like, you can't take someone's life rights without their permission. So that's why I'm like, loosely inspired by.
Well, you know, it's so funny because I'm like, Diana Ross is the one that apparently when she saw it on Broadway, she was like, I am offended because I feel like y'all did just steal my life story and put it on stage. And so then she was very against the movie Dreamgirls because she was like, I don't want to see it because I already know what it's going to be. I don't want to be a part of it. And then Smokey Robinson, who's supposed to be, I think he's Cece, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
The producer.
Songwriter.
Yeah.
Yes. He also came out and was kind of like upset because he was like, y'all saying that Motown was involved in some payola scams and they was involved with the mafia, but there's no proof of that. Maybe we do have court records saying that it was suspected, but there's no proof.
See, that's wild to me. I would assume that they would consult with them, right? To either gather more factual information to put into the movie and to just make sure that they were aware that it was happening. Like, it's surprising to me that Diana Ross saw the movie and was like, wait a minute, hold up. Like, y'all telling my life story, didn't even consult with me? Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
And it is interesting because I'm like, Brendan Connors is our actual screenwriter and director.
Bill Condon.
Bill Condon?
Yeah, it's Bill Condon.
Where am I getting
Brandon Connors? I don't know.
William Condon. Bill Condon?
Yeah, not Brandon Connors.
Bill.
Yes. Sorry to Bill. Bill. Is his name.
I'm so sorry, Bill. So again, welcome back to the Face of Life. We gonna We talking about Bill Condon's 2006 Dreamgirls.
Yes.
As the screenwriter and director of this production, one of the changes that he was trying to make from the Broadway show was relating it more to the Supremes. He was like, I think we should make this more about like the actual people to make it more realistic. So I'm like, he is the one that kind of leaned into this. Also curious, do y'all know what Bill Condon looks like?
He is a white man.
He is.
Yeah. He is a white man.
See, that's the dramaturgy stuff that I have not dug into. So y'all giving me some gems today.
And what's
You gonna
really
learn
interesting to me was that before this, he mostly did horror films.
Wow.
He was like the screenwriter on a bunch of horror films. He started directing them. He like had a murder TV series that he was a part of. And it wasn't until he got approached for Dreamgirls that it like started to take a pivot. He did have like one caveat that he wanted to like finish his like 2004 film Kinsey, which is like talking about like the research of sex studies. And so it's like once he got that, then he started getting some awards, and he was like, all right, I'm locked in for Dreamgirls, because this was apparently a dream project of his. And they like really wanted to get Dreamgirls made into a movie a couple of times. Apparently like the first time it was an issue because they wanted Whitney Houston to play Dina.
Yes.
And Whitney was like, but I want to sing Dina and Effie songs. And they were like, we can't do that.
Effie's the vocalist. I want to be her, but also I am Dina.
Right.
Yes. And then it was like the second time, because whoever was in Geffen's studio initially had the rights to it, and then he became the co-founder of DreamWorks, but the rights still originally lived underneath the Warner Brothers. And so Warner Brothers was trying to get it started, and something else happened, and they scrapped the project, abandoned it. But then Chicago, the movie, came out, and they realized like how much a musical movie could be successful. And so Brandon Connors just wrote the first
Bill Condon.
Bill Condon. I have gone through all my notes writing this man's name down like this. So I'm just, excuse me, Bill. I'm so sorry. William. He wrote one draft. They loved it. Said we're doing it. So here we are. And
Interesting. That makes sense though, if you think about it though, in the sense of like horror movies have a lot of spectacle and musicals have a lot of spectacle. So it's like, you know, the tone is different, but the approach is still kind of the same, like getting those beats right, knowing when is the moment we should launch into song, or like in a horror movie, when is the moment we go into a jump scare. It's like rhythmically that makes sense, I guess. I guess for me. Yeah. And I know that also when they casted Beyonce specifically, I know that like her screen test for the role of Dina, like she came in as Diana Ross. She was singing like Diana Ross. I'm glad she toned it down for the movie a little bit more, because that screen test was like, girl. But yeah, I think it's interesting that he chose to like, I guess, lean more into the Supremes of it all and the Berry Gordy of it all. But also I get why they were upset, because it's kind of messy.
It's so messy.
it sure is.
It's so messy.
Yeah.
I'm like, from a certain person's perspective, kind of is a horror movie. Okay, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yes.
And then I also just want to shout out, because I'm like, he then went on to direct the Twilight Breaking Dawn saga part 1 and 2. So I'm just thinking of just like how that spectacle comes back in later from a more theatrical standpoint. But
yeah,
good for you, Billy. But yeah, so he did take a couple of liberties. There are some differences between like this and the production. Malik, I'd be curious to know, what are some of the differences that you noticed as, again, somebody who's been in this world?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that I noticed in terms of difference between the Broadway production and the movie, the Broadway production at times feels like an opera, right? Because they are singing down the dialogue, right? Like in the moments there's not just a song that's breaking out. No, they are arguing back to back in song.
Yes.
Right? And you are hearing the nuance of every single person's voice in those moments. And that was something that couldn't translate to the movies as well. I think they did do a good job with like Before and I'm Telling You. Like that moment felt like a nice little operatic moment where they're arguing in song. But you see that multiple times throughout the Broadway production. I'm thinking specifically about Laurel's song, This Ain't No Party. And she is digging in on Jimmy. And it's that moment where you really see, I think the Broadway production also sometimes allows us to see more of the relationships that are building and the context that is given to how they got to where they are in certain parts of the show. But where I will also say the movie does a really good job of condensing some of that. The other major difference was the nuance of Jimmy's addiction, right? Like you don't really see that as much in the Broadway production. I think depending on who is directing it, they might add some nods to it. Like when I was in it at the Walnut Street Theater, our director, Jerry McIntyre, who is incredible. So it was an honor to work with him. Did add a couple of moments, and the actor that was playing Curtis and the actors that were playing Jimmy, they added a couple moments where, maybe they came off stage or they were walking on stage and they had just like, did a little something. But that's if the director is adding that in. That's not necessarily in the script always.
Right.
So I think that was also something that was really interesting. And spoiler alert, sorry for anybody that didn't watch the movie yet. But
this is all a spoiler alert podcast.
Yes.
Fantastic.
We're going to talk about it all.
We're gonna throw it out there. Jimmy Early dies, right? He dies, and there's that one moment where I think Anika Noni Rose, she steps out and is wrenching. I'm like, ooh, that hit. Yes. That hit. But you don't see that in the Broadway production as well, right? Like, we don't know that Jimmy necessarily dies. And again, depending on how the direction works, they might hint at it in some way. But I really did love that in the movie, that we see kind of how his addiction and his shift in his career really impacted kind of his mental health as well.
And I have another question about that, because one of the additions to the movie also is this segment where they do patience and change, and they're trying to show him like take on that more Marvin Gaye side of like trying to get into this conscious music.
Sing ones as me. That's all. Yeah.
And so I'm curious, does that part happen? Because that all does feel like it's I don't know, like right on the cusp of the edge of like Jimmy dying. Like that feels like a turning point for him. In the movie, at least where everybody's like, he had so much hope, and then he just starts doing heroin in the middle of this party, and everybody's like, you can't just watch you kill yourself like this. And then next thing we know is Jimmy's dead in this film.
Yeah. Those songs are not in the Broadway production. Like Patience is not there. And that whole segment, I think, I'm thinking about the moment when Jimmy is singing at it's one of the concerts. It's like his last performance, and he's Jimmy.
Like the
got
Motown
sold.
25, but it's not Motown 25.
It's not Motown 25. Yeah.
It's giving James Brown a little bit,
Yes.
And he's singing that Jimmy Got Soul, drops his pants on stage. After that, that's it for Jimmy, right? In the show, I mean, in the Broadway production, right? That's his last moment. He has a moment where he sings his little ballad, and he's like, "I'm not going," and then that's it, right? Like, so the movie takes it a little step further, and you really do see the kind of deterioration. But within the play, that's kind of our last big moment with Jimmy, because Curtis is like, "Listen, you are bringing our group down. We're not having this." And Jimmy's like, "I got soul. I'm not going away. I got soul." And then Like, well, you ain't got enough soul to keep going through this business. So
And like he just fades into obscenity after that.
Yeah, like after that moment in the show, that's kind of it for him. But that's what I loved about the movie. Like it explores that a little more. You do get to see a deeper essence of like everybody. Curtis is the villain, right? Like he
truly
he is manipulating everybody, and his actions from the very beginning of the movie play out. I think they jump like 8 years or so, and they play out because he is a snake, right? And he has been a snake since the beginning. And unfortunately, in the movie, Jimmy also is suffering from his manipulation in a really, really negative way. And I think I was really impressed with the way that they were able to show like how his mental health was deteriorating, the addiction was really giving in. But I think it also sometimes showcases what stardom can do to people, right? And the essence of fame and being in the entertainment industry and the pressures that come along with that. Because we have also seen, plenty of amazing, amazing artists unfortunately lose their lives either to addiction or what we see, and trigger warning, death by suicide.
Yeah. I will say I agree. I feel like the movie is more it's more about like the evolution of this label as a whole. Like it isn't like, it's Dreamgirls and we're seeing the evolution of this group and how they start and how they end. But I did appreciate, like, I did not know that Jimmy Early's like story arc is not that complete in the play, because in the movie I'm like, I see like him getting lost. And I also just want to take the time to say, like, I truly believe that Eddie Murphy should have won an Academy Award for this. Like, this was one of Eddie Murphy's like best performances, like hands down.
Agreed.
Hands down. Eddie Murphy truly killed it as Jimmy Early. But yeah, I'm like, oh wow, that's so interesting. I did not know that he does his Motown 25 performance, and that's the end of him.
Yeah, I think that's also what is interesting about the production, the Broadway show, is they really do explore like the relationships. I think you see a little more, but you don't necessarily always see the individual story as fully. I think both the movie and the production, right? A lot of it you're following Effie, right? Her experience, right? It's kind of from her perspective. But I think the show does a really good job of like showing how those relationships are growing and building, right? Like even in the show, you see more about Michelle and Cece coming together, right? In the movie, that is not really as right. You don't see
they
it.
Just pop up together, yeah.
You're just like, where did this come from? And even in the production, there's a moment where you're like, oh, I didn't realize they were together, but they have like there's a quartet that they do. And it's like all the couples are kind of singing together in this moment. And you're like, okay, Michelle and Cece, they're about to get married. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. So I think, again, the production does, you see more of those interpersonal relationships and not as much of some of the individual stories. And then the movie kind of flips it, where you see some of the individual experiences, because it's easier to see with film. You can see POVs differently than you do in a production.
And I think another point to that, I think in the production version, it's actually Michelle who suggests to Cece that he should go talk to Effie. Like, he also has just been like leaving her hanging for who knows how long, and Michelle's like, hey, you should go talk to your sister. But then also on the flip side, the other song that is created for the show, Listen, is supposed to help like Dina stand out and give her character some more development. And so again, to aid Effie, I think a difference between the film and in the play or musical is just that Dina is the one who tells Effie about Curtis and everything that she's doing, versus Effie kind of like coming in with the lawyers and everything and them already knowing it, because that just gave her more agency to have like a connection and conversation with her in a way that I don't think actually happens otherwise.
Yeah, there's a when you were talking about the moment with Michelle and Cece in the production, during that quartet moment, that is where she's like, go talk to your sister, like get it together, you need to go. But also I think in the production as well, the lawyer scene, another one of those kind of opera moments where you're like, whoa. And I remember when I was learning the music, I was like, let me make sure I get this beat right. Wait, this has to come in where? It was a little confusing. But in that moment, you see Dina for the first time being like, oh, wait, all of this has been happening. And I kind of didn't know. But in the movie, because she is also stepping into, like, she's stepping into her own power in both. Yes. But in the production, you can see she's like, wait, whoa, you've been doing this to Effie? And I feel like in the movie, there's a hint that she kind of already knows. So it feels like they did such a good job of translating it into the movie form. But there were moments where they had to pull some stuff back, add something there. I do love that Beyonce got that moment. I wonder how that went down in the production of the conversations, where she was like, listen, you gotta give me at least one. That's just me,
Beyonce.
Apparently it wasn't her idea. It was Bill's. It was Bill's over here. He was like, I want Dina to be more fleshed out. He also said there wasn't like a big number in Act 2, the same way that like And I'm Telling You is in Act 1.
Right.
So he was like, this should be Beyonce's moment.
I love that, because
that feels right.
Yeah, in the production, beyond Dina's moment is during When I First Saw You, kind of. She's like stepping out, because When I First Saw You is a duet in the production, whereas in the movie it's just Jamie Foxx, right?
Yes.
So in the production, you see Dina kind of having her own moment, stepping into her own power. And that's what I loved about playing Curtis in that moment, where you see When I First Saw You not just as like, oh my God, I love you, but it really was him manipulating
controlling
her.
Yes.
Like it's his form of control, right? Like it's those moments where we think about relationships that are abusive at times. There's a cycle, right? There's a cycle. There's the abuse, and then there's the huge moment of trying to reconcile that, and giving gifts or singing a song, and then you go right back to an abusive moment. And something I've really loved in our production at the Walnut Street Theater, Jerry McIntyre and our Curtis at the time, Jaron Muse, they found this really beautiful moment at the very end of the song where you see that it is clearly him trying to like manipulate and pull her back in. And he grips her arm. And it's just this moment where he's like, when I first saw you, I said, oh my, and grips her arm. You're my treat. And I'm like, okay. And again, it's, and you see it even in that moment where she's a little roughed up, but then she's like, I do love this man. I think it was really, really powerful. And again, those moments where Dreamgirls in and of itself does such a good job of showing what some of those really minute moments and how they can have a long-standing impact.
I think that makes too, like, I think that makes Dina's character, I think it gives her so much more agency. It makes her so much more interesting. Because I think about, like, when we first start the movie with her, like, because she's not the lead. Effie is the lead. And she's so, she's more timid. She's, like, more quiet. And then even when Curtis, like, kicks Effie out, and makes Dina the lead, it's like Dina's still not fully like stepping into that. Like she's trying to, because this is what she's been instructed to do, but I feel like she's still not fully there. And then like when we do our time jump after Effie leaves, and we're like seeing Dina like in these production meetings with producers trying to find her own work and pick out her own roles,
with John Krasinski.
Yes. and then we see Curtis like, no, you don't need to be doing that movie. You need to be doing this movie. So that when we do get to listen, it's like so cathartic because we have been seeing Dina not have that voice, just been, you know, just doing as she's told. And yet I'm like, it's such a huge moment. It's just a huge moment for Dina. And I'm like, even when Jamie Foxx, when Curtis does his song, and it's like she's like sitting in those photo shoots, and he's like, you know, pushing her hair, he's still trying to like fix her the way he sees. It's just like seeing Dina like find that agency, and then he's like, as compared to like Effie, who has always been outspoken, but it's like she is still having to find that within herself as well, just in a different way. It's like when Cece comes to her with that record, like, girl, I wrote you a song, like, this gonna be the one, only for Curtis to take it and make it a disco hit for Dina.
Yeah, One Night Only.
Oh my gosh, I love both versions.
Yeah, they're good.
I do. And they work really well together. I love that, like, it becomes like Jennifer's theme song as she comes back at the end.
Yes.
For One Night Only, she does get to be a dream again.
Yes. And like, it always kills me too when like it goes into the disco version and they toss the Effie in the trash. I'm always like, God damn. Like,
but also notice how Curtis still kept one record in his own personal file, you know, like he's trying to push this down, get rid of it, but he still has feelings for Effie, and that's what got you caught. That's why Beyonce found it in your damn drawer.
Yes, all that paperwork and finding out that you pushed out her record, that she had the record first, and you paid to push out her record and push this disco dreams version of One Night Only. It feels so much more satisfying. It should have. But it feels so much more satisfying for that character, for Dina's character, and for her making that decision of like, I'm gonna call Effie and I'm gonna ask her to come for this One Night Only performance. Beautiful, great. I'm like, you know, I will say, I feel like Bill Condon. This is like one of those movies where I'm like, I am not mad at the changes that you made, sir. Like, you know, sometimes. Sense. Yeah, sometimes it's like, I would rather you have stuck with the original source material. But like, I do feel with this film, I am not mad at the ways that they are different. You know,
I agree. I think it really feels like a strong adaptation, and the choices that were made help elevate some of the story. While I think some of the nuances missed, like I said, in terms of the relationships a little bit. But the movie, it captures a lot. And I think that's what we see when we think about film. Like, film, at times, you can tell a different story because you can capture different POVs, point of views, and the angles and the visuals. The transitions are even different, right? Like, when you see one scene pop into another, there's not set pieces moving off stage, you know. I will say though, I think at least for the two productions that I was in, the set is usually a little minimalistic, right? It's not,
which I don't
major, right? Like, you don't see a lot of like set pieces moving. Like, there's usually like a really strong backdrop that can come in and out, that shifts. Like when you're doing the disco moments, and lights are big, but you don't see a lot of, like, there's not a whole bunch of props. There's not a lot of moving set pieces, right? And I think it depends. It depends on the direction of how that is being utilized. I will say, at least in the productions that I was in, it feels like it worked because you were trying to center the people, right? And center the story that you're seeing. Because it is intense, right? There's some very intense moments throughout this show, and being able to be a little more intimate with the people that you're seeing feels good. But I've also felt at times where I'm like, especially if you're in a larger space, you might see some of the actors get lost because there's not much that they're playing. You know, it's a double-edged sword sometimes.
Yeah.
I will say also, there's a lot of time jumping in space that we are like moving through too. So I'm just like, it also makes sense that like this is not a stationary place, and so like we are just focusing on like a whole whirlwind of performances where you know, as you were talking about like these camera angles and different POVs, I'm like, another moment that like doesn't get to happen in the stage production is like Curtis actually seeing magic. Like he went from I am in the balcony to I see Effie's eyes switch to the front row to I must now go down to the front row and then look at this child who is looking up at her mother and she is crying, and then I gotta look at myself and just
I'm
be
doing
like,
the math in my head.
Yes, like, oh, I mean, Dina too, when she was like, well, Magic ain't no baby, she about 9, and she said, bitch, not 9? You mean as long as we've been here? Like, which always makes me feel so bad, because like once you know that like Effie coming in and be like, I just went to the doctor's, y'all, like I feel so much better, I'm like, that's her about to come with some news, and they're all like, you have been replaced, you
fat, you late,
you lazy,
too
you
much
angry.
to work, lazy.
Oh Lord, have mercy. And you know that did happen to the real life Effie White. But who's not Effie White? What's her name? Give me 2 seconds. 2 seconds.
Like who was in the Supremes?
Yes.
Is her name Mary?
Mary Wilson? No, that's Laurel.
That's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's Florence Ballard.
Oh.
Yes. So Flo also, like, her career, and the, kind of like a difference between her and Effie is that Effie does get to resurface. Effie gets like music put back out there. She gets to have that moment with the dreams, whereas like Flo never gets that. And that's probably also like why I think so many of us want Destiny's Child to reunite at the end of Act 3, because it's like, please, Beyonce, do not leave us the way that the Supremes left each other.
Like she said, Destiny has been fulfilled. What you mean? Destiny was fulfilled in 2004.
Bring it back, girl. If you're going to close down the whole stuff, give us Act 4 then. I want Act 4 to be the Destiny's reunion farewell tour.
Please.
With every child of Destiny.
Every
child.
Latavia, Latoya.
Yes.
Farrah, I'm sorry, girl. You can stay home. But yeah.
Interesting. That moment, I think that's also, it tells a different story about motherhood, right? In that moment, and how that can change your trajectory in life, and whether you jump back in it or it just shifts, right? I think knowing that shift is not always something negative, right? There's power in being a mother, and a single mother at that, right? I think that's what we saw a little more in the movie, because we have that moment at the end. And I really also appreciate you talking about the time jumps. What I really love that all the actors that I've been able to work with have been able to do is change the age of their characters, especially after that 8-year jump, right? Like, and especially for the dreams. They are little girls when they start. They're 16,
teenagers,
right? Yeah. 16, I believe. And when you have solid actors in those roles, you see the shift as they're getting older, right? You see them changing. You see their perspectives changing. You see them stepping into their own a little more. And I loved being able to watch some of my fellow actors really lean into that, thinking about the movie as well. I think they did that pretty well, right? And the shift, one of my favorite songs in the whole movie, I Am Changing. Look at me, look at me. I'm like, J Hud, you better do it. And I'll give a shout out to Jennifer Holliday too, right? I think that song in and of itself is one of those moments where you're like, okay, I do see a totally different person, with still some of the same spicy, if you will, characteristics, but they know you can see that transition in a really beautiful way. I love that from all the actors.
And speaking of Jennifer Holliday, another little dramaturgy tidbit I found was that Effie in the original Broadway production was supposed to die at the end of Act 1. And then Jennifer Holliday,
supposed to die?
Yes, was like about to leave the production because she was mad that her character was dying. It was like, I don't want to be a part of this. And so they rewrote Effie to stay in and still be a part of this and have the ending that she did. So I'm just like, I can only imagine I Am Changing is like truly somebody sitting in the booth like, all right, well, how we gonna bring her back, you know? And that's where we get.
Interesting. I know too that Jennifer Lewis like workshopped Effie's role before it went to Broadway. She said that when she was workshopping it, she already knew that they were, gonna bring back Jennifer Holliday for the actual production, but she did say that she was able to like help craft that character a little bit more, and that because like she herself was someone who was very loud, very outspoken, always like frequently told to make herself smaller, and so those little like intricacies with Effie's character, she's like, she had a hand in also like shaping that even more. But she was like, yeah, but we all knew that they was going to bring back Jennifer Holliday, so I knew that my role was not going past the workshop. But interesting. I'm glad they did not kill off Effie, because I'm like, that makes no sense. I'm like, absolutely not.
Seriously,
this is a tragedy now.
It's kind of her story. How you gonna kill her off? You know what I mean? Like, again, I think that's especially what we see in the Broadway production. Effie is the star, right?
Yes.
The whole show. You killing off Effie? What? No. I'm glad that decision is not made.
Well, shout out to Jennifer Lewis too, because even I know Bill used to have to like take Jennifer off to the side around holiday times and was like, she's not a diva enough. I have to like actually direct her to be more diva. And so like he would tell her to come in late, tell her to come in with bad attitudes. And then sometimes it would be like him just taking her off set and they would just go run lines together and he would just go work with her personally. But he just wanted to create more tension in the space. Yes. To make J-Hud that girl. Wow. And now here she is.
That's interesting. Listen, directors got to pull out all types of tactics to pull things out of their actors. I think that's what makes a good director. And don't get me wrong. I think we want to be careful about the environment that we're setting. Yes. Right? I don't want my directors end up engaging in any type of abuse. But there is some creative ways that you can like shift the room, because that especially in a Broadway production, right? Like everybody has to be on the same page of what we are seeing on this stage. And if something isn't reading, we got to talk about it, right? And we got to be creative in how we get that energy to be seen. I think that's one thing I love about doing live theater is, one, the audience engagement is always interesting, right? With something like Dreamgirls, iconic show. People come knowing the show. Yeah. And that's actually something that was really interesting. You see people come in with the movie in mind, and then they watch the Broadway production, and you have those moments where they go, okay, Laurel, I didn't know she had this whole moment, and it's cool to see that, the audience interaction. But then also, you have to be so specific in how you are performing to make sure it is being seen the way that you want to see it in that exact moment. You don't always get that in film, right? Like you get lots of takes, do takes over and over again. You get to edit and all those things. But when you're on a stage, boom, you got one chance. You got one chance to tell this story. And one night only. Yes, one night only. And if there is, it depends on the run of the show. And something I always appreciate directors and even performers being able to say is, although you've done this show multiple times, this is the first time that an audience member is seeing it. So you got to act like this is the first time that you were even doing it and really keep that energy. And it's not always easy, but with a show like Dreamgirls, you come out every night ready to dig in.
Yes. I do think that I do appreciate how in the film too we do kind of get those moments, like in the sense of like when they're performing in front of audiences and we're seeing the audience's reaction. Like, of course, you got the not Motown but Motown 25 performance, and you know, you got the not Jackson 5 with the little
the Campbell connection.
The Campbell connection doing the robot on stage.
The 5 tuxedos is what they call.
And you know, when they're when they're still backing Jimmy early and they're like performing in front of like that white audience, and yeah, even just seeing how this white audience is responding to them. I do appreciate this movie in the sense of how it's also giving us some of that that historical context. Like, we're seeing how the group gets a song and it does well, and how like the white label takes it and, you know, makes it into a Beach Boys type song, and that shoots up to number 1, and now they're back to the drawing board trying to find their next hit. I got me a Cadillac.
Oh, honestly, when I think of that song, that's the version I think of. I love the white version of Cadillac.
You said unpopular opinion, but I'm gonna say it anyway.
You said I helped that song go number 1. Yes,
that was actually one of my favorite moments from the audience. They ate that up. You know, like as soon as that person came out, they are cracking up because it's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Yes.
And it's like the caucasity.
The caucasity of it all.
Maybe that's why it stands out.
I love how you talked about like the 5 tuxedos. They had Little Albert and the True Tones. Those moments where you are seeing them live on stage are also so cool. And yes, the reactions from the white audience. That was also something that we explored in the production. That moment when Jimmy is singing and
looking at that woman.
Yes, he's like going in, and she gets all uncomfortable and walks out. To be able to find that nuance in a live production, Jimmy has to really like be so uncomfortable being in that space because you can't see the audience being uncomfortable. You got to see Jimmy uncomfortable and at the time the Dreamettes uncomfortable. It's just weird. And again, I think that's where we see the differences between the movie and the production. You can dig into those nuances more, and you are watching entertainers, so you also get to see kind of that level of how the audience is engaging with them. We also got to give a shout out to the Dreamgirls song, right? Like that first time when they're singing, oh my gosh, it's iconic. It's iconic.
It is.
It makes me happy.
I'm like, it was phenomenal. Yeah, great. Costumes, wonderful. Dresses. I love how the Dreams are upgrading in their costumes as we go along. I'm just like, they killed it with this movie. They really did.
And then Jamie Foxx has that moment where he sees it. He's like, oh, this is we about to make bang with this group.
This is it.
Yeah. Gosh,
I feel like that's how you can see the passage of time in the movie is through the wig elevation.
For sure. And I know like Beyonce like apparently like lost a bunch of weight to play young Dina. She went on
I thought from what I read, I thought it was for the section after where she was in the 70s like breaking up with Curtis.
I thought it was before for when she was a teen. She dropped a bunch of weight. I don't know. Beyonce transformed her body for this role, apparently. Dedication. She came in very, very serious. And I think, too, like with her Destiny's Child background and some of the, rumors and gossip that, especially around like the breakup and remixing of Destiny's Child, is really stepping into that character of Dina Jones, where you really did have someone shifting and changing your group versus like my childhood friends feeling underrepresented by my manager / dad. But I have nothing to do with that. That's truly my dad. Yeah, you know, I was like, I thought it was great casting. I'm like,
it made
truly,
sense.
It made
a lot of sense.
Yeah, it made a lot of sense. I did not know who Anika Noni Rose was before Dreamgirls. And yeah, I mean, I think that she did, even though I would have liked to see, I'm like, Laurel sounds much more fleshed out in the production than she does the movie. I think in the movie we see her, she's like really, really quiet, and like her biggest moment is when she like tells Jimmy like, no more, like,
after 8 years.
After 8 years, you still married to another woman. You keep saying you gonna leave her and marry me, and I'm just over here watching you slowly kill yourself. Yeah, I would have liked to see her fleshed out just a little bit more, because I think Anika Noni Rose is also such a talented actress. She has a beautiful voice. And, you know, it's like Jennifer Hudson, I think this was like truly her first acting role. I don't think we saw her, in anything before that. We just knew her as like, I think she came in like 9th place on American Idol. She wasn't even like top 5. Like she was either like 9th or 7th. That season was stacked, by the way. But I'm
like, and Fantasia was also up for the role as well. And
interesting.
So she's like, and I think actually Yvette Nicole Brown was kind of their number one contender until they really like sold themselves on Jennifer Hudson.
I think Jennifer Hudson was the answer.
Oh my
I think
gosh.
she was. I think
Perfect.
she was the one. I mean, just. And I am telling you alone, I mean, like, sis is snotting. Like, she got snot coming down her face, tears. Like, I'm like, she killed it. She really did. She did an amazing job. And before, like, just on American Idol, like, she did not have this diva identity. I know it's like attributed to her more now, but like before, she did not have this diva identity, and I think that she really stepped into that role very well. And I'm like, Jamie Foxx is also a phenomenal actor with a great voice. I think he did lovely as Curtis. But I think Jamie Foxx is definitely not Jamie Foxx. Eddie Murphy is definitely my favorite performance, because I'm like, stand out. They should have gave that man so many awards for Jimmy Early, because he really did embody the spirit of just like James Brown into this like Marvin Gaye-esque character. Until he met his demise. I'm just like, but yeah, I'm like, it was like, shout out to Bill Condon. I did not know that he also wrote the screenplay, and I'm just like, wow, dude, you did amazing. That was no qualms. Yeah,
a true storyteller. And again, in terms of like the adaptation, they just made so many great choices. And speaking of Jennifer Hudson, I think this was the biggest FU to Simon Cowell that could have ever been done.
Ever, yes.
And it's always F.U. Simon. Like, he's there for us to hate.
You know, he's a lot nicer now, you know, because that's not as cool anymore to be.
It's not as cool.
Incredibly mean. I'm like, so he's a lot nicer now.
But I think that's a testament to kind of the notion of like, what's for you is for you, and what's not for you is not for you, right? Like, if she really did continue and maybe won American Idol, maybe she would have never been F.U. White, you know?
Yeah, and now she's an EGOT. Like,
yes, and
good for her.
We have to know that there's a starting point for everyone, and there's always that quote unquote breakout role. And Jennifer Hudson, I'm bowing down. I'm bowing down. I just I am over the floor, and I also appreciate Jamie Foxx a lot, because he is like one of the purest forms of an artist. Right?
He really is. He really
goes across so many different styles of art and is like incredible at all of it. You know, like he does it all so well.
Stand-up comedian, actor, singer. I think he went to college on a piano scholarship, like on a piano thing. Yeah, like he's incredibly. I'm glad Jimmy Foxx is still here. I'm like, he is incredibly talented, and I don't think he gets his flowers enough for his acting. Like, I know that he has won an Oscar, but I'm just like, he really is like a great actor, and I think that sometimes it's really hard for comedic actors to step into dramatic roles, but I don't feel like Jamie Foxx ever has that issue. Like, I feel like he does wonderful being funny, and when he needs to step into a very serious role, I think he does wonderfully then too. He could have gotten Best Supporting Actor. I'm like, he did
Yeah,
he did great.
the versatility is
I was like,
wild.
y'all are right. It is mostly like Eddie and Jennifer who were like nominated a lot, but also Jamie almost was not a part of this film either. They approached him first, and he was like, "Y'all not gonna pay me enough. I don't want to be a part of it." Then Eddie Murphy got signed on first because he talked to like the head of the studio, and he was like, "The owner personally asked me to be a part of this, so I will." And then I think they got Beyonce, and then Jamie was like, all right, hold up.
all right,
Fine. Y'all can pay me the less salary.
I bet that set was cracking up too. Like, you got Eddie Murphy and Jamie Foxx. Like, I bet, like,
I'm sure it was a great time.
I bet they was cracking jokes.
They had to have had so much fun.
They did.
So
they really
much
did.
fun.
I hope so.
Also, honorable mention, Lauryn Hill was considered for Dina.
Really?
Kelly Price was being considered for Effie as well. They almost approached, or they tried to approach Usher for Cece. But he couldn't take a year and a half off from his career to be a part of this film, because apparently that's how long it took.
I was like, he's in the middle of Confessions. Like, he's at least on tour for Confessions at this point. Yeah.
They also talked to Omarion, but he said no.
I'm glad. Thank you, Omarion.
They got who apparently was also a Power Ranger at one point.
Yes, he was.
I did not know that.
Really?
And he did good too. Shout out to him. I did not know he could sing into this movie, and I was like, oh, well, okay, Cece.
And then don't he go on to be in Hairspray too? Or am I making that up?
I don't think he's in Hairspray.
I'm making it up.
I don't know. Maybe I have not. Again, I've not done my dramaturgical duties. This
it's just my brain is starting to place him in another singing role, but I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. And then also, just like another note, so like we talked about DreamWorks coming back and like making this production a thing. They were also going to do it hand in hand with Warner Brothers, and I think Warner Brothers dropped out and said like this is gonna be too much money. And so then they did, what was it? Viacom would then purchase, it was Paramount. Paramount Pictures ended up working on this, and then Viacom would purchase DreamWorks, so that way the two studios were under one umbrella, so they had distribution and production costs completed. So Dreamgirls had a $75 million budget, and it is the most expensive film with an all-black cast in cinema history for DreamWorks.
Wow.
I mean,
it's never put that much money into black people ever.
I mean, it's a great film. I'm interested because I know you said that Whitney was supposed to be Dina and she turned it down, because I know Whitney then went on to produce Sparkle, which is Dreamgirls-esque kind of.
Right.
Still
is that the one with
group.
Jordan Sparks?
Yes.
I was trying to think of Jordan Sparks' name the other day, and it could not come to me. So thank you. I was like, is Jordan something? Wow.
So,
well, I feel like it was around that time when they were making a lot of films about the industry, right? Like you were seeing more, there was a rise in kind of seeing how we engage as artists. Mainly singers, honestly. I feel like we were watching a lot of singer movies, and they were black.
Yeah, beautifully black.
Yeah, like the Temptations. We just talked about Sparkle. Like those moments where we're like singing or seeing beautiful black performers on screen. It was cool.
On screen, killing it. Like,
and you know what's so funny is because. Bob the Drag Queen just did like a whole series on black people don't like musicals.
And I was like, that's a lie. You are not talking to any black theater people. I was like, that is not true. That is not true. I was like, absolutely not, Bob. Absolutely not. That's because that is absolutely not true.
Don't reinforce the cultural divide.
Yeah, right? I was just like, black people do like musicals, Bob. Okay? Yeah.
I think that's another nuanced thing, because when we think about it, access to musicals for a very long time.
Yes.
It was not an accessible space.
No.
Especially for people of color, but that doesn't mean that we don't enjoy musicals.
But also, I do think there's something about, maybe it's Black people love Black musicals. Like, yes, there are Black theater people who love musicals because we love theater, but I think Black people, Black people had an issue with the Color Purple movie musical.
Yes.
They love the Color Purple, but they said, why are we singing? And I think there is something to be said that, like, a lot of Black movies, when they do have a musical moment, it is like centered in the church. I think there's like something about like when music is evoked for Black people, it becomes super powerful, and like it does transcend time moments. I mean, like Tyler Perry's introduced me to so many different songs because of his plays. And it's not like he was writing original music. Like, it was just like people be bust out into song, and that just feels casually Black to me. But I guess like it exists in a specific context. So something about I am curious of just like, what is it about a Black musical that feels encapturing for Black people, like versus just like musicals, period. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like a Little Shop versus Dreamgirls. Not to compare the two, but like, yeah.
I mean, I think it's about what stories are being told, right? Yeah. And how, again, representation is being uplifted in a different way, right? Like I said, musicals for a very long time is not a space that was always accessible to people of color, and more specifically Black people, because we didn't see ourselves represented. But then, and because it was expensive, right? Like getting access to go to New York and see shows is not something that everybody can do, even to this day.
Yeah, even if you live in New York, it's like the average New Yorker. It's like, yeah, it's still not that accessible.
But then we also, once we see more Black stories being told, we can have a space where we see, like, I actually want to be involved in this. When I saw Memphis, oh my God, it changed the way I saw musical theater. I was like, this is Montego Glover as Felicia.
Yes.
Wow. I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to do it. It was inspiring, but it was also inspiring because it was telling a Black story. Now, there are sometimes some folks that say actually Memphis is more so telling a white story. So
it is.
That's a whole nother,
It's a white man in a Black world.
And I think that's also another thing. Like, we have to be use our critical thinking skills when we engage with some pieces. I'm about to start a production of Ragtime, and I'm very excited because the music is amazing. But I've only seen the show once. So I'm excited to do it so I can dig in, understand the script a little more. But I'm playing Booker T. Washington, so I'm like, okay, we about to have some preacher moments.
Famous West Virginian, not West Virginian, but West Virginian. It was before West Virginia became a state. It was still
I'm
Virginia, but it's today's West Virginia. So he's a famous West Virginian.
Yes. So I'm excited to kind of step into it and understand the show even more because it is kind of a historical piece. It's seen sometimes as a Black show because there is, we're following a Black family to some degree. So I think that's what we get to do. But the dramaturgy is what is also important, right? Like, how can we dig into how was this show created? Why was it created? What is it representing? What was the original writer really trying to say?
Yeah.
While also uplifting what the audience is taking away from it, right? Like it's a twofold type of moment. So I'm excited to see what that brings. But when I think about my experience with Dreamgirls, one, it was so cool to pretty much be in an all-Black cast, right? For one of the first times in my life. And this was while I was at the Grand Theater in New Jersey. And just the energy of the space felt a little different, right? Like there was a different sense of camaraderie. There was a readiness to put on this show because it was important in the space that we were doing it, right? Like some of the theaters that I work at have predominantly white audiences. So being able to put that show on specifically in that space was so powerful. That's why when you see Dreamgirls pop up even here in the tri-state area, it's such a big deal. Because the audiences are not always as diverse as we might want to see them. And it's a level of exposure, right? Where you are helping people see Black stories on stage to know that this is a reality for some folks, and how can we see those stories and uplift them in a really powerful way.
And I do think that is like the thing is like we don't have many Black musicals that are like purely just like for us by us, and it's with something like Dreamgirls, it's pulling from something that so many of us are already familiar with. Like we're already so familiar with Motown and Diana Ross and the Supremes, so it already has like that baked in familiarity to it, versus like when you take like a show like Little Shop and you just make it a Black cast that doesn't necessarily make it a Black show. We're just seeing Black people on stage, which is still important. It's still something we should do. But like as for like truly having that musical that was meant for us by us, we don't get that too often. And when a lot of times when we are seeing ourselves on stage, it's like, you know, we have a show like Hamilton where it's like, okay, there are Black people on stage, but this isn't Black people. Like, you know, we know who Thomas Jefferson really is. We're just leaning on that suspension of disbelief there. But I think it's really, it is important that we get more shows by us for us. And I'm glad that this was made into a movie, because like I grew up in West Virginia. I'm so far removed from theater there,
right?
So far removed from theater there, but like Dreamgirls was such a important film in my life. Like still, I was like, that was truly, I think, what opened me up to theater to begin with was this movie.
Same.
So it's like, you know, these things are still so important, and you know, shout out to Dreamgirls, because like that's accessible. Like that's accessible, and that is what can still pull so many people into this world. Because when you don't see yourself in a place, it's harder for you to imagine yourself there.
I mean, that's why it's special when something like this hits the mainstream, right? Because then it's worldwide at this point, right? And anybody can see it at any time, in any place. And that's also the beauty of film, right? It lives on. It lives on. And it can have different interpretations depending on the time period of when it is seen. Like, now that I'm having this conversation, I'm like, on my new 75-inch TV in my new house, which I'm so excited about. I just had to toss that in there. We might have to toss on Dreamgirls tonight.
As you should. Absolutely.
I introduced Garrett to Dreamgirls, I guess it was about a year ago now, and we watched it for the first time, and he loved it, right? Like, he's not a big musical theater person, but he was in it. He was like, oh my God, Jennifer Hudson singing down, Beyonce, blah, blah, blah. And then we saw the live production at the Walnut Street Theater opening night, and he was like, the parallels. It was just, it's so exciting, you know, to introduce somebody that I love and care about to the iconic nature of what Dreamgirls is. It's so beautiful.
And shout out to Cheryl Lee Ralph, the original Dina.
Yes.
You know?
And Loretta Devine is our original Laurel. And she gets to have a little cameo in the movie as the jazz singer in the club.
In the club.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that. Shout out.
Any favorite songs from this musical?
Love You, I Do.
Yes.
That I love the energy of it, right?
It's like a nice little bounce.
It's one of those moments where, like, sometimes people call Jennifer Hudson a one-hit wonder, or a one-trick pony, because she very much so is like, when you hear Jennifer Hudson's voice, you know it's her, right? Like, she has such a unique voice, and she will belt her face off.
She's a powerhouse.
She will belt her face. She is a powerhouse.
So how does that make her a one-trick pony? That's her voice.
Because people say that she's just yelling. Yeah, I agree. Right. But people they say that she's just yelling. That she's always just yelling.
Then these are untrained ears, because I'm like, you can hear the resonance. You hear the support. I'm like, this woman has also gone through so many weight shifts, and it has changed the tone and texture of her voice. But yet the strength is still there. The hydration is still there. I'm like, as many years as she's been singing like this, and she still sounds like that.
Yes.
So I say that because I Love You, I Do feels like that moment where she could take a step back It's not as
so
belty.
pretty.
It's not. It's just like it's fun. It's pretty. It's a bop. It bounces. I think in the movie because it's not in the show. It's not in the production. Yeah. And in the movie, I think they're in like the garage or whatever.
Yeah, she's singing to Curtis.
Yeah, it's just I love that moment. And her acting throughout that song also really stood out to me. I'm like,
acting,
look at you go. So I think that would.
I'm like, she really in love with Curtis. I'm like, she is really in love with Curtis. She really is. I love Stepping on the Bad Side. I love that moment. Yeah, Stepping on the Bad Side. I love both versions of One Night Only. You know, Beyonce killed it with Listen. I'm like, you can listen and not even think about Dreamgirls. It's just like an iconic Beyonce song. She did not win Best Song that year at the Oscars. That's crazy to me. Yeah.
It's like all three of the new songs for the movie were nominated. It was Listen, Patience, and Changes.
Yeah, and did not win. I'm like, that movie was it didn't win nothing.
Talk about snubbed.
Hold on, no, Jennifer Hudson won for Best Supporting Actress.
Yes, sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
Jennifer
she
Hudson,
won. Yeah,
she won. But
And Best Sound Mixing.
They said the sound sounds good.
But it was nominated for a shit ton more.
And they snubbed that movie.
And see, this was before my time of even really paying attention to the Oscars, so I feel like I missed that.
I remember her, Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson saying "Listen" together.
Oh wow! Mm-hmm. I can only imagine what that sounds like.
I feel like that at that age I wasn't as invested because I wasn't seeing or acknowledging the performance as much as I do now, right? Yeah. Especially as a professional. But I do remember those moments of Jennifer winning, right? Because that was just huge. And I think I do remember Listen being nominated and not winning.
Yeah, I was 9, so I don't think it was fully processing for me. I
always loved award shows.
I feel like I really tapped in like middle school because that's where I'm finally taking like theater classes, and now I get to like bring in my own songs and music, and so I'm just like Dreamgirls. So I feel like that's where me and Jennifer Hudson like really locked in because I was like, this is. Also, there's just not a lot of songs for altos. So I'm just like, songs for folks with lower voices, Jennifer was where it was at for me.
And I have to say, too, it's like, and I'm telling you, like, they was playing that just on the radio. Like, they were just playing that, which is, like, how that never happens. That never really happens. I mean, we got that with Shallow, like, A Star Is Born.
Oh, yeah.
But this was, like, Shallow was... That was the first time that song has ever appeared in that movie. That song, Shallow, is not in any... That movie has been made 3 or 4 times, and that song has only been put on the Lady Gaga version. Yeah. But, you know, And I'm Telling You is like original Broadway song. And it is playing on the radio, and it is charting on the charts, which is huge. That's a huge, big deal. Big deal.
Yeah, shout out to...
They was playing it on MTV Jams. I'm like, they throwing the movie in the middle of music videos. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Beyonce, I have seen that classic whirl around of her in the booth many times.
Yes.
Which also feels like, I don't know, it gives me like a sneak peek into this Lemonade process. Because I'm like, she also talks about like Jay-Z being behind the camera as she's like throwing her ring at him. So I'm just like seeing Beyonce yell at Curtis and him just also in the booth like, do it again. And I'm just like, God damn it.
The layers, y'all. The parallels. It's wild.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. Put Beyonce in that role.
Yeah. And then Beyonce sang Listen in Spanish. She like, this was in her Spanish era when she was recording her song. So you got Oye. That's the Spanish version. So I was like, you know, they was making it international.
Wow. Well, any last thoughts, y'all? I feel like we covered why this is important to cinema history. I think we answered, is this a black film? Hell yeah. DreamWorks would also say it's our most expensive black film. So yeah, any stand on a soapbox, you just got to get this off your chest.
Spectacular movie. All performances are wonderful. If you're hating, you're hating. I hate when people do not like, okay, hate is a strong word. I just like when people complain about songs and musicals, because I'm like, it's a musical. Like that's a part of it. Like if you take the music out, it's not a musical anymore. So it's like to the performance of the song being sung is just as important as the performance when they're not singing. Like they are just as important. They go hand in hand in a musical, and you cannot judge one without the other. If the songs ain't there, then it's just like, well, then the performance isn't that good. But it's like it's this, they're one and the same. It's like the performance of the song is just as important as the non-singing parts. And I think everyone did a spectacular job. Eddie Murphy should have gotten an award for this movie. I stand by that. And yeah, it's beautiful. Go watch Dreamgirls today if you haven't, for sure.
Yes, but y'all gotta watch it. It is honestly, it's a timeless piece, right? Like, I'm excited. I'm excited in the next like 40 years to introduce Dreamgirls to somebody. You know, like I look forward to that day. And I can't agree more. I think, as I mentioned from the beginning, it's a star-studded cast. Yeah. And I appreciate everybody's work, the entire team that put together that movie. I appreciate their work because it really did reignite a love of theater for so many people, but me included. And yes, this film is black as hell. If there's ever a question, it is a black movie. And I'm honored to say that I've been able to play Curtis in 2 different iterations. I think as I continue to step into my daddy era a little bit, I hope I get to do at least one more production of Dreamgirls, because it is definitely in my top 5 musicals and in my top 10 movies of all time.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, shout out to Bill Condon for bringing this dream project to life and allowing the rest of us to feed for the culture. And you know, I have heard no qualms about that band. So he sounds like he was doing a wonderful job. So I'm like, thank you for also just taking care of our beautiful black people and not scarring them throughout this production. And making black films that matter. Yeah. Malik, this episode drops in January 26th. You know, Happy New Year's, y'all. Anything that you want to like share, plug, throw out there?
I think if we're leaning into the new year, I think Dreamgirls is a testament of patience and consistency and hard work. So I invite you, as you lean into this new year, to be patient, be consistent, and dedicate yourself to your passions, to what drives you. Even though, as we saw with Effie, even though things may not work out the way you always expect them to, with hard work and dedication and letting your ego go, you can actually be as successful as you want to be. So I invite you all to do that. I want to say thank you to my homies for inviting me in to be a part of this today. This was a lovely conversation. Dreamgirls is so iconic. And like I said, top 5 musicals, top 10 movies. So I'm excited to have been in conversation with y'all. Thank y'all for the opportunity. I might be in my podcast era too. Y'all shaping me up here.
Thank you for being on today. Yes.
All right. Well, then, you know, follow us on Instagram at the Fade to Black Podcast. That is at the Fade to Black Podcast specifically. And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Tell us what you thought about this episode. Tell a friend, tell an enemy. If you didn't like it, you know, whisper it in their ears and be like, you know, spice up your life today with some Dreamgirls. Happy New Year's. Happy Sunny's birthday. It's the 3rd holiday after the Christmas, New Year's, Sunny's birthday. So you're welcome. Flight prices are dropping as of today. Book you one. And then, you know, listen to the Fade to Black podcast on your flights.
Yes.
Yeah, but thanks. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.